Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of Preet Codes in Python. We're going to learn Django development in this course, and by the end of this course, and by the end of all the things that you watch, you'll be able to apply as a full stack developer in any company. We're going to go through how the development process works. We'll talk about a little bit about system architecture, of how to create models. You need a basic understanding of Python to get along with this course for sure. Um, and we're going to build a full-fledged sales and inventory management system. We're going to use a lot of nice tools like Celery, Redis for task queuing, and using Redis as a broker, and even using Redis for caching. Um, so yeah, I hope by the end of this course you have a detailed insight into how the actual software life cycle works for any product. So let's get started. First things first, we're going to install Python. So let's go to python.org. Under downloads, you can see it's the latest version 3.12.1. We click on it to start the installation process. Always add python.exe to the path and try to customize your installation a bit. We need all of these things. Click on next, install for all users as well, and click on install. I have Python installed in my system, so I don't need to do this again. So I'm going to cancel it. Let's go to command prompt and see if Python has been installed successfully. Yes, as you can see in my system, Python 3.11.4 has been installed, and I'll just exit it. So now since we have Python installed, what we're going to do is we're going to create a project folder like the one I have created, and we'll start building our first project, setting up the Django app, configuring it to run properly, and we'll run the server also, and so that you can see how the process works from start to end. First, we need to go to the command prompt, and we need to have pip installed, which you must have already installed during your Python installation. Um, First, we need to install the virtual environment. So let's see. So you can go to this pip project link. You can copy this and you can install the virtual environment in your system. I have it already installed, so I'm just going to dive right into it and start the virtual environment. The command for that is python -m virtual env, and the env name, I usually name it env. It's much more easier for me to navigate through. Now, as you can see, the files have been created. Let's go to the env folder, cd env/scripts. So we are in the scripts file, and if you look at the directory, you have an activate file here. So just simply type activate. And as you can see here, our Python environment has been activated. I will go back to the root folder, get back to the project folder. Let's install Django. So here, as you can see, Django is being installed. Now, Django is a very powerful tool. It has its own admin panel built in for you to play around with. But be careful with the admin panel. We'll take you through along because it has no validations in it. Whatever you do directly affects the database, right? So as you can see, Django has been successfully installed. Let's create our first Django project. The command for that is django-admin start project mysite. You can name it whatever you want, and it will create a project called mysite. Now let's go inside the mysite folder and click directory. So as you can see, currently we have two files. One is a folder mysite, and the other one is the manage.py file, which is a very crucial file to run your Django servers, fire commands, and stuff like that. So since we have Visual Studio Code already installed, it's the IDE that we're going to use to create this project. I'll just type in code dot, and it should open up my Visual Studio with the files here. So as you can see, currently it's only the mysite folder, the manage.py file. We also need to create a Django app, and that will be created inside this original my file for mysite folder. So as you can see, currently we are inside that directory only, and we'll create an app. Django admin startapp core. Usually that's sort of a naming convention that we follow, wherein the core application which will run a lot of things is named core, and later on we can build multiple applications depending on what use case those are built for. So as you can see here, the core folder has been established with views.py file, tests, model, apps, admin.py file, and the init.py file and the migrations file. So here first we're gonna start with the settings.py file and start doing some settings out here. The first we'll do is import OS. It will import the operating system so you can basically create file paths and everything now. Next up, we want a front end to be set up inside this same application. It's called a monolithic application with everything is in one code base and on one server. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna write this thing templates underscore dir. It's called os.path.join base directory and templates inside inverted commas. Now what is this command? Basically, this command tells your Django application where all your front-end templates are stored. And as you can see, we have operating system.path.join to join two folders. One is the base directory, which is a directory of the folder which our Django project is housed in. This is very important because once you change OSs, right, so you don't have to define your base directories for Django to find its path. It's already right there. So let's say today you move from Windows to um, an iOS operating system, that is a Mac OS operating system, then you won't have to define all these things. These things are self-configured. And what we are saying is in the base directory, wherever you find the templates folder is where my templates housed in. We imported OS because we're going to use this OS uh, abbreviation here in our path, because if I remove this, it's going to throw an error. See, so we're going to import OS again. Now secret key, let it be what it is. Under allowed host, just add a asterisk between two inverted commas, so that basically it allows every single host to communicate with the application. This we will study in detail when we're actually deploying our application to allow it to make calls from only certain domains or certain IP addresses. Now under the installed applications, you remember we created an app called core, so we're just going to write core over here and set this up. Let the middleware be as it is. Everything is self-configured. Under the directories, we'll add templates underscore dir, the path that we created over here. Now you can directly even write this inside that list, but we just created an string or key for it, and then we store in that key. So that's templates underscore dir. So currently we are using the simple MySQL SQLite database, which is self-sufficient for our local environments. But we will be using something like a Postgres SQL database in our staging and production environments. So that's how this is going to be work. Time zone, since I'm in India, I'm going to move it to Asia, Kolkata, so that it is in my time zone. The static URLs will be set. So I'll just teach you a little bit how to add the static URL file so that you can have your static files, that is a CSS and the image and media files to be stored. So we'll just create a folder called static files. Static. Let's create a folder called static. So I'm just going to navigate through my other project and just copy the static file settings. It's inside in my settings.py file. So yes, this is what our static files look like. So these are the settings for static files and the media files. So wherever you want to save media like an image or anything, it directly goes in the media folder to create itself. And we have a static files folder and a static folder. I've defined it beautifully well. So now this is how you initially set up a Django project inside a virtual environment. So follow the steps. We'll be sharing a Google document with every single code. The link will be there in the description. So share with your friends who are looking to set up a Django project. In the next episode, we're going to cover how the Django file directory works, what each file does, and we'll start creating a user model so that users can access our Django application, and we'll install some more libraries and take you along through that. So see you next time.